Knowledge Nexus.
Today we're tackling analysis paralysis, that exhausting state where overthinking traps you in endless loops, making action feel impossible. You spin your wheels, stuck in cognitive quicksand, unable to move forward. Analysis paralysis hijacks your brain's planning center, turning your best intentions into anxiety and inaction. But this isn't a permanent flaw. It's a pattern you can break. Today, you'll learn 3 science-backed tools to interrupt overthinking and take decisive action. We'll cover how to contain worry, detach from intrusive thoughts, and build automatic action plans. The first tool we'll explore is called Worry Time, a simple yet powerful behavioral intervention designed to help you manage anxiety by containing your worries to a specific daily 15-minute window. Instead of letting anxious thoughts creep in and take over at any moment, you give yourself permission to worry, but only during a set period each day. This technique is about creating boundaries for your mind so that worries don't spill over into every part of your life. Rather than allowing anxious thoughts to hijack your day, you intentionally schedule a set time and place to let your mind run wild. This means you're not ignoring your worries or pretending they don't exist. You're simply choosing when to address them. By doing this, you take back control from your anxiety, and you start to see that you have more power over your thoughts than you might have realized. When worries pop up outside this window, don't try to push them away or get frustrated. Instead, simply jot them down on a notepad or in your phone and gently remind yourself, "I'll address this during worry time." This small act of postponing your worries is surprisingly effective. It helps you break the habit of ruminating throughout the day and teaches your brain that not every anxious thought needs immediate attention. Over time, this practice trains your brain to stop treating every worry as urgent. You begin to notice that the intensity of your worries fades when you don't feed them with constant attention. This reduces their power over you, and you start to feel lighter and more in control of your emotional state. In fact, research shows that worry scheduling can significantly decrease the frequency and intensity of intrusive thoughts. People who practice this technique often report feeling more empowered, less overwhelmed, and better able to focus on what truly matters. By giving your worries a designated space, you're not only reducing anxiety, but also reclaiming valuable mental energy for other parts of your life. The key here is not to suppress your worries or pretend they don't exist. Just postpone them. Think of it like gently redirecting a puppy. You're not scolding your mind, just guiding it to a more appropriate time and place. When your scheduled worry time finally arrives, you'll often discover that many of the worries you wrote down have lost their urgency or even seem trivial in hindsight. Some may not even feel worth addressing anymore, and that's a sign your mind is learning to let go. Remember, this isn't about ignoring real problems or pretending everything is fine. It's about managing your mental energy wisely, so you can focus on solutions when you're ready, rather than being consumed by anxiety all day long. To get started, define your worry time. Pick a 15-minute window that works for you, choose a quiet location, and commit to this practice for at least a week. Treat it like any other important appointment in your day. This simple act shifts you from being a passive reactor to your worries to someone who proactively manages them. Over time, you'll notice a greater sense of calm, clarity, and control in your daily life. The second tool we'll explore is called cognitive diffusion, a powerful technique that comes from acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT for short. This approach is especially helpful for people who find themselves caught up in cycles of overthinking or anxiety. In ACT, cognitive diffusion is all about changing the way you relate to your thoughts, rather than trying to change the thoughts themselves. It's a subtle but profound shift in perspective. Overthinkers often treat their thoughts as if they're absolute facts, urgent commands, or even predictions about the future. This is known as cognitive fusion, when you become so entangled with your thoughts that they seem inseparable from reality. Cognitive diffusion, on the other hand, means learning to see your thoughts for what they really are, just mental events, passing through your mind like clouds drifting across the sky, or cars driving by on a busy street. They come and go, and you don't have to follow every single one. Here's a simple exercise to try. When a negative or intrusive thought pops up, pause and label it by saying to yourself, "I'm having the thought that..." For example, instead of "I'm going to fail," say, "I'm having the thought that I'm going to fail." You can also play with the thought by imagining it spoken in a silly cartoon voice, or by picturing it as a character from your favorite animated show. This helps you see the thought as less threatening and more like a passing idea. Another playful technique is to sing the thought to the tune of a familiar song, like "Happy Birthday" or a jingle you know well. This makes the thought feel lighter and less serious. These creative strategies break the spell that thoughts can have over us, making them feel less powerful and much more manageable. You might even find yourself laughing at how silly some of your worries sound. Remember, the goal of cognitive diffusion isn't to suppress or eliminate your thoughts. Instead, it's about reducing the influence those thoughts have over your emotions and actions, so you can respond more flexibly. Start to notice when you're fused with a thought, when it feels sticky or overwhelming. That's your cue to use a diffusion technique and create some healthy distance. Practicing diffusion can actually quiet the brain's rumination circuits, helping you shift from automatic, repetitive thinking to a state of greater present moment awareness and clarity. Over time, as you get better at diffusing from your thoughts, you'll find it easier to act based on your true values and intentions rather than being pushed around by fleeting worries or doubts. When you combine cognitive diffusion with tools like worry time, you create a powerful system for keeping intrusive thoughts from derailing your day and reclaiming your mental space for what matters most. The third tool is the if-then plan, an evidence-based way to turn intention into action. It's a simple but powerful strategy that helps you bridge the gap between knowing what you want to do and actually doing it. When you're stuck in a cycle of overthinking, it's easy to get lost in endless possibilities and never take the first step. The if-then plan is designed to cut through that mental clutter and give you a clear, actionable path forward. Overthinkers get stuck between wanting to act and actually acting. The mind races with what-ifs and doubts, making even the smallest task feel overwhelming. You might find yourself planning, analyzing, and second-guessing, but never actually moving forward. This is where the if-then plan comes in. It's a way to break the cycle and make progress, even when motivation is low or anxiety is high. An if-then plan links a specific cue, if it's 9 a.m. and I'm at my desk, to a tiny concrete action. Then I'll write the heading for my business plan. By connecting a trigger to a small behavior, you create a mental shortcut that makes it easier to start. The cue can be anything, a time of day, a feeling, or even a place. The key is to make the action so specific and so small that it feels almost effortless. This bypasses overthinking by making the action automatic when the cue appears. Instead of debating with yourself or waiting for the perfect moment, your brain recognizes the cue and shifts into action mode. Over time, this process becomes more and more automatic, reducing the mental effort required to get started. It's like setting up a mental domino that tips you into motion. The action should be so small, it's almost impossible not to do. Just start, don't finish. For example, instead of telling yourself to write the whole report, your if-then plan might be, if I open my laptop, then I'll type the first sentence. This lowers the barrier to entry and makes it much easier to begin, even on days when you feel stuck or unmotivated. For example, if I open my email and see a tough message, then I'll write one sentence in reply. You don't have to solve the whole problem at once. The goal is to create momentum by taking a single, manageable step. Once you start, it's often much easier to keep going, but even if you stop after that first action, you've still made progress. Research shows people with if-then plans are up to 3 times more likely to follow through. This isn't just theory. Studies have found that these simple plans dramatically increase the chances of taking action, whether it's exercising, studying, or tackling work projects. The structure of the if-then plan helps your brain recognize opportunities to act and makes it easier to follow through, even when willpower is low. Identify where you're stuck, create a specific if-then plan, and write it down. Don't just keep it in your head, put it on paper or a sticky note where you'll see it. This physical reminder reinforces your intention and makes it more likely you'll act when the cue appears. Take a moment to think about a task you've been avoiding and craft your own if-then plan for it right now. This transforms overwhelming goals into simple, executable steps. Instead of feeling daunted by the size of the task ahead, you focus only on the next tiny action. Each small step builds confidence and creates a sense of progress, turning what once felt impossible into something you can actually do, one step at a time. Use worry time to contain analysis, diffusion to handle intrusive thoughts, and if-then plans to trigger action. These tools work together to help you manage your mind, reduce anxiety, and move forward with clarity. When you combine them, you create a powerful system for overcoming procrastination and building momentum in any area of your life. Together, these tools dismantle analysis paralysis. They help you break through the invisible barriers that keep you stuck, so you can finally take the actions you've been putting off. Each small win chips away at self-doubt and builds your confidence to tackle bigger challenges. You move from endless thinking to effective doing. Instead of being trapped in your thoughts, you become someone who takes action, even when it's hard. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to start, and the more progress you make over time. This is how you reclaim your momentum. By using if-then plans, you turn intention into action, one small step at a time. You'll find yourself moving forward with greater confidence, building habits that last, and finally making real progress toward your goals. We've covered 3 powerful tools: worry time, cognitive diffusion, and if-then plans. Remember, clarity comes from action, not more analysis. You can't think your way out of paralysis. Small steps forward reveal the path. Choose one tool and implement it today, especially an if-then plan for a task you've been avoiding. What's your cue? What's your tiny, non-negotiable action? Do it now. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more science-backed strategies and take your first step today.